Hello, chefs. This is Chef's PSA. I'm your host, Andre Natera. Today I'm joined by Leonard Botello IV, owner and pitmaster behind Truth BBQ, one of the most acclaimed Central Texas-style barbecue destinations and a winner of the Michelin Bib Gourmand. We talk intuitive cooking with fire, the craft of smoking meat, the importance of mental health and wellness in our industry. Let's get into it. Stay tuned. ChefWorks is the gold standard for workwear. In the kitchen and beyond, with millions of wearers globally, they are the largest and most trusted culinary apparel brand in the world. For over 30 years, ChefWorks has been crafting performance workwear designed by industry experts, tested in the toughest kitchens, and trusted by the biggest names in the business. Whether you're just getting started in the kitchen or a seasoned professional, mom and pop to leading franchise, ChefWorks has the gear and uniform program built for you. Find out how ChefWorks works for you. Save 20% on your order with our exclusive discount code. Just enter Chef's PSA 20 at checkout.
I want to say like 6 to 8 months in, like being open. I had this guy who had been in barbecue previously come and work for us. He's a good friend of mine. And I just remember it's kind of like all a blur, but very like I can still see it and feel it all at the same time.
Is this the current Truth location?
No, this is the original one.
Okay.
So this is before everything happened for the most part.
Okay.
And it's like always stuck with me. And I'm pretty sure there's a scar from it. Long story short, he'd been in barbecue for a while. He knew how to cook barbecue. He knew how to run fires. I was on the cutting block serving customers. It was pretty busy that day. And one of my guys just comes in and he says, "Hey, so-and-so, he's having issues with the fire." He's like, "You need some help." I'm like, "Okay, well, he's been doing barbecue for long enough. He should be okay. I think he knows how to handle a fire." Goes away like nothing happens. And still serving customers. So in the middle of a conversation with a customer, he comes back over and taps me on my shoulder and just like looks me dead in the eyes. He was like, "Hey, he really needs some help with the fire." I'm like, "Dude, what do you mean? What do you mean he needs help with the fire?" He was like, it's getting a little out of control." I was like, "Is he cooking too hot? Like tell me what's going on." And he's like beating around the bush for like 30 seconds. And then finally I'm like, "Dude, just fucking tell me what's going on." He was like, there's a fire outside." And I was like, "What do you mean there's a fire?" And he was like, "There's a fire." This is like back and forth. And we're like trying to understand because he's talking in code. And
he's trying not to panic.
Well, he's trying not to let the customers know as well. And he's trying not to panic. So he's trying to like be professional about it, but also keep his calm and keep his cool. But I was just not clicking. I was like, "Oh, barbecue, fire, like whatever. Yeah, it's what we do every day." And it like clicks immediately. I'm like, "Oh, a fire." And I go outside and I just see black smoke like pouring out of the top of the pit room. Black smoke is not good. Go in there and the temperature gauges are just like off. They're just as far to the right as they can possibly go, past 500. And I was like, there is a huge grease fire in there. And I knew it. I know the smell, like I know the look of the smoke, like everything. And he's panicking, like frantic, like freaking out. He's like, "What do we do? What do we do?" I'm like, I just couldn't think in the moment. I knew exactly what to do. You want to smother the fire out. You can close off all the dampers, close off all the airflow and just let it hum and just smother it out. And in my head, I knew like, don't open the doors. Maybe this is something to do with where I am in my career, but my favorite movie growing up was Backdraft.
Yeah.
And that was like the one thing they're like, don't open the doors. It's like going to blow back on you. First thing he does, I don't know why, he just clicks and goes and opens one of the doors and everything shoots out. Like it'd been building up. All the grates were on fire. Like I'm talking like to the ceiling and I am freaking out. That 10 to 15
he opened
the door, and like I couldn't even talk, like because it was that bad. And I go over to like jump up to grab the door to shut it, to try to smother it out. And it was too big. I burned the entire upside of my arm. Like it was just bursting out. And like right after that, everything was in slow motion. And I see him like looking all around the room. And
did he get hurt when he opened the door?
no, I opened the door.
Oh, you opened the door?
Yeah, I opened the door. I still have a scar up here. It was a pretty big fire, and everything, like I said, was in slow motion right after that. It was like, I thought the whole thing was going to go up in flames. Like it definitely should have, especially after this. I just see him like looking around the room, like just very frantic. Like we are all, I was still, the other guy was still, and the other guy was just like, that caused the fire. He was just like trying to figure out what to do to make it stop. And I just see him eyeball, and I can just like see it. He looks directly at we keep water pans in the barbecue pit, so to keep it nice and humid in there. And I just see him eyeball the 5-gallon bucket of water. And it was like, I saw him pick it up, and I swear to God, it's like still in slow motion in my head. And it's like, don't pour grease on a fire. And for some reason, he dumped that entire thing on it and it went out. But I just saw the whole thing just like spreading and going up in flames. And it was like, this is it. This is it.
Holy shit.
And then it went out, and we like kind of like, are you okay? Are you okay? And they were like, yes, yes. Went back to service, went in front of the cutting block, and went back to the customer. This all happened in like a minute and 30 seconds.
How bad did you get burned?
Enough to go to urgent care.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. That leads to probably some important questions for our audience. What are some of the dangers of cooking barbecue, and what should we do in a situation like that?
Well, that was a special barbecue pit, so there was like a lot of different levels to it and corners and stuff like that where grease could get trapped into. And a lot of people think that you need to keep your barbecue pit a certain way because it cooks better. To a certain extent it does, but you still have to clean them out same way you would a cast iron skillet to keep from having grease fires. You got to think that if you're cooking a lot of brisket, you're cooking a lot of pork, all it's doing the entire time is just rendering out fat. It's just collecting and collecting and collecting, and then it solidifies, and then it re-renders when you cook it again, and so it just piles up down there. And you got to do it like once a week.
Yeah, I guess I've never worked in a place that cooks that much in a smoker. How often do these smokers get cleaned out?
At the restaurant?
Yeah.
Since then?
Yeah.
Once a week.
Once a week?
Yeah.
What, like you pressure wash them?
No, you got to go in there and take like a bench scraper, dough cutter, just go in there and go it like in the inside of the propane tank, just dig it out, and it's just soot, ash, and everything that's built up, and then you scoop it, and it's very time consuming because you got to hit the grates. You have to they're very porous, so you have to treat them like a cast iron skillet.
Yeah.
You can't really power wash them, put degreaser or anything on there because you want it to kind of cake on, but to a certain extent.
Wow, that's a wild story.
Yeah, so each one takes, minimum an hour and a half to clean, I would say, like to get in there. And then you got to clean out the chimney. You got to take a chimney sweep because it all catches in there, and those will actually ignite as well. If a ember comes, if it gets if it's like, it has to be like the perfect size to go from the firebox to have enough momentum to get to the end of the cooking chamber through the exhaust. But if it does, everything in the fire stack will also ignite.
When I went to Truth, you have one of the coolest operations I've ever seen for barbecue. It's massive, by the way. For people that have never been, you took me into the back, and then we went into what do you call the room where you have the big hot room where all the smokers are.
Room of hell is what
the room of hell, right? And I remember you had a guy in there, and you're like, this guy's like, gee, he's been here forever. But it's massive. How many smokers do you have back there? And for people that are listening, I took video when I was there, so I'll put it up in the video so people could see. Yeah. But I mean, those smokers are massive.
Yeah, they're 1,000-gallon propane tanks. Most of them, my favorite one is from 1967. So the older the propane tank, just like everything else, they use better materials, thicker gauge of metal. So more insulation, cooks more evenly. But we have 6 of those there, plus another pit, and then a hog pit for direct heat cooking. So about 8 pits out there.
Well, and because you're busy, you have a line out the door. About how many briskets are you cooking daily?
Usually 90 to 100 on the low end.
Yeah.
And then 120 is like the max. You can cook more, but like there's a threshold for quality and consistency. Like, and you know how many people can manage so many pits based off of their shift. So you really got to be able to balance that out. Like you can't just load them all up and just pray for the best thing to happen and everybody to show up. Like, yeah, there still might be a line out the door. There still might be customers when we close, but do we want to keep those customers with a less quality product, or do we just want them to come back the next day?
About how many people get served out of a brisket? Like if we were doing like brisket 101, what's the average number? Like, is there a range?
I would say maybe 5 to 6. 6 would probably be stretching it like comfortably.
Feed 6 people with a whole brisket?
Yeah. On the size that I like to cook, I would say. Yeah.
I know there's a lot of hot takes when it comes to barbecue. So I had Allie on from La Barbecue, and I put up a little social clip about, she's hot and fast the way that she cooks her barbecue. Yeah. And fuck, everyone in the comments was getting upset with, she's wrong. She doesn't know what she's talking about, which I'm like, she probably does know what she's talking about. She's fucking good at what she does. But a lot of people were really upset about the way that she cooks. And I didn't realize, like everything, strong opinions, knife sharpening, everything.
I think barbecue is the worst, though.
Is it?
It's like everybody's a professional.
Yeah.
Everybody has their what's right and what's wrong, and it's in every corner of Texas. Every Reddit thread, every YouTube video, every Instagram post.
Yeah.
Everybody's critiquing you.
And then people will say, well, even if it is good, it's Austin barbecue. It's not real.
There's always something.
Yeah. It's good for Austin or whatever they're going to say. But so her take is hot and fast. She goes in and she cooks it about half the time. I want to say she said 6 hours.
6 or 7 hours, I think. Yeah.
What is your approach to barbecue? Brisket.
So it's always been different. It's always changed throughout the years. I think the same way that Allie's has changed. Mm-hmm. A lot of us, I think there's not a lot, a few of us look at like the next thing, like trying to make things better. Yeah. There's always there's if you look at it and you're like, this is the best, there's always going to be somebody that either does it as good as you or they'll end up doing it better than you. So I think it's important to always look forward for like better solutions, better answers, whatever. And I always tell people the barbecue that I cooked 6 years ago is not the same as it is today. And I guarantee you it won't be the same 6 years from now, because I always think that there's a better way. And my wife always tells me, she's like, because I get upset about, well, this could have came out. She's like, you can't cry over spilt milk. I'm like, yeah, but I could have done it this way and I know the results now.
Yeah. What were you doing 6 years ago that's completely different than what you're doing right now? Because I think a lot of people could learn from that. I think a lot of times we get on YouTube and then we watch an old video from 10 years ago and then we get stuck with it and then we don't refresh our knowledge for years.
You get stuck and you get fixated on one thing. And I think to the point where you brought up Allie, I wish I would have known that there's a process of barbecue. There's a process of all cooking. Mm-hmm. But there's structures and mechanics that apply in so many different ways that you cannot even understand until you do it thousands of times. Mm-hmm. So I wish I would have known. I mean, there's times where I thought that a brisket had to take 12 hours to cook. We don't know if that brisket is 25 pounds or if it's 12 pounds. They're not going to cook at the same time. But I thought in my head, like, brisket needs to take at least 12 hours. And I would panic when I would have these 44 farm briskets that were nice. They were like kind of pre-trimmed a little bit, but they were good shape, size, very small, cook more efficient, and they'd be done in 8-9 hours with the same process I would use on a regular, like a larger size brisket. Let's say those were probably 10 to 12 pounds, maybe max. Mm-hmm. Something else would take, 14, 16 hours, around, 15 to 20 pounds. and I would just get stuck in my head, and I'd be like, man, I need to slow this down. But the brisket's going to be done when it's done. And I think the best way that I can put it, everybody's kind of trying to like force a cook in barbecue, but they don't realize that that cook has to come to you. Like you can't push it. Like you just have to accept it, and it's going to do what it wants to do. And the environment, the weather, the wood, the cow, the beef, it all plays a factor in that, and you can't force it. It just has to do its thing.
What are you looking for specifically when you're testing doneness on barbecue? And I know a lot of people have a lot of different methods, but you know, I think about like when I was a chef, I want to test the doneness of vegetables. You know, I would have a cake tester, and it was like, okay, is there any resistance? You know, I'm looking for a certain feel, or you know, a lot of people they'll test the steak with their hands. Or, there's a certain feel that things have, and some people go by temperature. You know, did it reach? You know, is the pork at 155 degrees or 146 Fahrenheit, depending on how they like to cook pork. Is there something that you look for either texturally or temperature wise when you're cooking briskets?
All of it, I think. Temperature is like a good guideline, but then if I tell you temperature, it would just be around that area, because in the cold winter, like if we were cooking today, let's say it drops down to like 30 tonight, like you're probably going to pull a brisket that feels done in the high 190s. In the peak of summer during June, July, it's probably going to be 212, 215. So
why is that?
The exterior environment just plays a huge factor.
That much, huh?
Yeah.
That's a lot. I mean, that was at 20 degrees.
Yeah. And we're not searching for like a medium rare or medium internal temperature, like a true temperature. We're looking for, you know, all the collagens and intermuscular fats to be properly broken down. And that's the hardest thing about barbecue. It goes down to feel, and there's like a certain resistance that you feel from the bottom of the brisket. And it feels, best way I can put it is if you can push your finger through it without resistance, it's going to be overcooked. But if you can't push it through, it's undercooked. But if you can like give it a little push where you feel like if you put some force into it, you could put your finger through it, that's kind of where it needs to be at.
When, if you wanted to like give people a basic 101 for people that have like, today I'm going to start cooking brisket, not me, but you know, to someone in the audience is like, today I'm going to start cooking brisket and I know nothing. What are the most, like, can you walk us through a good universal practice to cook brisket from knowing nothing to a reasonably good product at the end of it?
Honestly, you're staring at a fire for hours.
Yeah.
Like, people don't realize that cooking with fire, and not just barbecue, just like grilling, like anything cooking with fire, Santa Maria, any type of Argentinian hanging grills or anything like that, fire's a major element of the earth. Like you can't control it. You can manipulate it, but you can't control it. And people think that, oh, I got to do it this temperature, but they don't understand that temperatures are just guidelines. They're just gauges. They're not true ambient temperatures. Woods all combust at different rates, different temperatures. They burn hotter, they burn lower. You can't control it. You can throw it for a loop and kind of tell it where to go, but it's going to do what it naturally does. And a lot of people think that they go through a process. They understand a process. I can show you a YouTube video of a process of 1,000 different ways to cook a brisket, but it's never going to apply to how you do it at the house. There's more of a formula to it. And the reason I say stare at a fire for hours, you have to understand how fast it breaks down, how it reacts, if it's hotter on one side, if it's hotter on the other side. You have to understand that before you can even jump into it. And that's one thing that I wish I learned, because that would have saved me a lot of money burning up briskets.
Yeah.
And pulling them too early, pulling them too late. But like, a lot of people don't realize that barbecue is more than 90% fire management.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess when I look at it, again, I'm not an expert in this field. That's why I like talking to you guys and eating your food. But when I look at it, I look at the process like you were talking about. It's like, okay, you know, how do we season it? How do we trim it? what's the quality of the meat that we're buying? Does it make that big of a difference if we're using prime versus choice versus something else?
To a certain extent, yeah.
Does it?
Yeah.
And then, like, do we wrap it? Do we not wrap it? What's the temperature, etc.? And keep in mind, like, a lot of people that might do barbecue. I don't know. This might be blasphemy, but a lot of people don't have smokers, so they might cook it in a smoking rationale with smoker chips or something like that, where they can control the humidity and the exact temperature and things like that.
I think a lot of people just get fixated on barbecue has to be a certain way. Like, for instance, like I'm talking about fire management, how important that is. And then you were talking about Allie and her hot take on cooking hot and fast. And they're like, oh, that's not right. Allie knows the mechanics behind what she's doing.
Yeah.
So she can manipulate a brisket that I cook in 16 hours into 6 to 7 hours. She's not going through a process. She understands all the ins and outs of what the fire is doing, how the pit's working, how the brisket's reacting, how the muscles in the cow or the beef is reacting, how the collagens, and until you have to understand that aspect of cooking, which I wish I knew. Like I said, we were talking about earlier, I wish I knew the stuff I knew this week, last week, a year ago, or 5 years ago. Until you really understand the mechanics, you're going to get the same result.
Did you ever have like a light bulb moment when you just said, fuck, I've been doing it wrong, this is way better?
Yeah.
What was that?
I was cooking in my backyard. I read a lot of barbecue books, one in particular that everybody likes. And I just kept on doing it the way the books were saying. I mean, this was back when there was nothing on YouTube. Everything was on barbecue was kind of hush hush back then in 2012, 13.
It's like fucking
14.
It was like the Illuminati.
Yeah, everybody wanted to know what they always thought it was, like the brisket they were using, the seasoning they were using, the pits they were using. But then this stuff came out in books, and you go through the process of the book, and you get the same results. It's not like you had it at their place. It's like not even close. And it was like a light bulb moment that I realized that they're just guidelines. They're not, it's like I told you, like I could tell you a temperature to pull a brisket out, and that might be on that specific day, on that specific pit, with that specific wood, but it's not going to apply to everybody at their house. And that was like that light bulb moment when I started to realize it was like, oh, now this is Tetris. Now this is a game. I have to move all the puzzle pieces around to make sure that everything fits properly. And there's mechanics to that. There's not just a process. If not, everything's just going to pile up.
Interesting. Yeah, it's fascinating how, because in the culinary world, and I know there's different aspects of the culinary world, but it's kind of like sauce making. You can make it, but you can read the recipe, but you don't really know what you're doing. Like you're following a recipe. But the expression recipe has no soul.
Yeah.
It's like if you make it 1,000 times, it's like, oh, you know what? It was too hot. We simmered it too long. The bones weren't just right, or whatever the case may be. The aromats were not perfect. And you start to you start to have a connection with the food that if you don't cook, you don't understand it. And a lot of times when you're cooking for someone, I joke around and I tell people, like, when someone asks you what's your specialty, it's like the fucking most, you have a specialty, right? I mean, it's barbecue-ish. But like, it's a super annoying question for chefs when they get asked, what's your specialty? And I joke around and I just say chicken Alfredo because the plebs love chicken Alfredo. And then you're going to tell them how to make it. And they're going to say, that's exactly how I make it. Like some butter, some parm, some pasta, whatever. And then they're going to get upset with you and they're going to say, that's exactly how I make it. Why is yours so much better?
Yeah.
You don't do anything different than I do, but why is it when you make it and I make it, it's different? And it's because, like you said, there's 1,000 little things that I do that I don't even know that I do that make it taste different. Yeah. It's the way I season it. It's the temperature control of the pan. It's how quickly I was heating up the cream or emulsifying the butter, whatever the case may be. The way I grated the Parmesan, did I do it on the heat or off the heat?
Yeah.
Did I drizzle it with olive oil? Right. It's all these little things that the quality of the cream, the quality of the olive oil, how much garlic did I slice the garlic? Did I mince it?
Yeah.
How hot was the garlic when I added it? Did I use shallot? Like, and I'm sure we're taking 4 or 5 ingredients with chicken Alfredo.
It's more than that though.
Right. But it's 1,000 little things that you don't see. And that's kind of what you're talking about.
No,
as
it's
well.
exactly. And I'm glad that we talked about this because I had this conversation 2 weeks ago with a guy that I've been working with for a long time. And it just like, it clicked this year. Like, I wish I would have paid attention to all the nuances that were happening around and like gathering, like, when the sauce is going to break.
Yeah.
Like that. Like, you just know, and the other people don't know.
Yeah,
and you don't pay
you smell it.
Yeah. You can't. I wish I would have paid more attention to all those little details along the way. And that's why my wife always tells me, you can't cry about spilt milk. And I'm like, but I heard it and I saw it and I smelt it. I knew it then.
Yeah.
Why didn't I apply it until just now? But I wasn't paying attention to all those details. And I told him, I was like, you want to get better faster. I was like, you don't listen to music while you're cooking. And you have to be focused on everything.
All 5 senses.
Everything.
Yeah. Maybe the 6th, right?
Yeah.
The force.
You don't realize how much you absorb just by osmosis, just by going through those motions hundreds and thousands of times. And I think that people don't pay attention to how things react. I didn't. And gather that data and log it in the back of their head or log it in a notebook and be like, hey, this, and pay attention to those things that make it better. Like, yeah, Alfredo is very simple, but there's one guy that probably cooks it really, really, really good.
Yeah, with the same 5 ingredients, right? So it's funny. Yesterday I was making. It's simple, but it's relevant. I was making macaroni and cheese at home yesterday, and it was pretty much done. And I could have turned off the burner, but I didn't. So I left the burner on, and while it was still staying warm, and it was very low, I was like, I'm gonna throw away the trash, and I'm gonna wash some dishes, and I'm gonna do a little.
That always takes 30 seconds. That ends up at 5 minutes, or
right. So I'm like, I'm gonna do these little things while the macaroni is going. So anyway, I opened up the garage door, and I'm throwing away the trash, and I smell scorched cheese. If you've scorched a pot, you know exactly what that smell is like. And I smell it, and I said, shit. I left it on like just above the pilot light, and I fucking scorched my mac and cheese. And then when I went back in to the kitchen, I turned it off and I stirred it, and it wasn't scorched, and I couldn't smell it anymore. And it was an interesting moment because I realized I was pre-smelling it before it scorched because it was about to scorch.
Yeah.
And my brain was telling me,
it's like amplified.
Yeah, like you're about to scorch it. You need to go back. And it hadn't even scorched yet, but it was right there. But I could smell it strong, like if it was about to scorch. And I was like, this is like fucking super
Sixth Sense.
Super Sixth Sense,
yeah.
Right? Yeah. And I'm sure you have the same thing when you're cooking brisket. Like you know it's going to burn before it burns.
Now, one thing that I've noticed, and there's only 2 other people that I've ever heard say this. When the brisket is done, it only happens in butcher paper. When they're done, that room specifically, you can smell it amplified, but even outside, it smells like dark chocolate. Like it goes from just like smoke and fat, like rendering, you can smell that. It smells like barbecue. And then it goes to like a sweet, very bitter, dark chocolate smell.
Oh.
And
you smell that
every time you go in there and you feel them, you're like,
now, is that just a you and your team thing, or is this other people that
two other people
not on your team?
No.
Interesting. Do you think you have like a superpower with your olfactory senses?
I don't think so.
I think I do, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I didn't know this, and people that are listening can fact check me in the comments. But I could smell ants. And I didn't know this. I didn't know this until recently, but I didn't know people couldn't smell ants. It's a thing.
I didn't even know you could smell ants.
I could smell ants. Yeah, I could smell them. Like if they're in the room, I'll fucking smell ants.
Like from a mile away, or
not
just
from
like
a mile away, but like if they were crawling on the table, I could be as their ants on the table. I could smell them, and I could smell a lot of things like that. Like I have very good olfactory sense. It's like a fucking truffle dog.
That's
pig.
like more Avengers though.
It is. It's like I said, it's like my superpower.
Yeah.
Like it's a kind of a lame superpower, but it's great for a chef.
Cool, though.
For a chef, it's pretty good. But I could smell things like right away. Sometimes I could smell things and I could be like, "What's in it?" I used to be able to like smell and be like, I need salt.
Yeah.
Like, how do you know? It's like, I don't know. I think I could. I know you can't, but I
Yeah.
think I can.
It's like you can already taste it before you.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Like, how do you know it needs salt? I just know if I can trust me, it needs salt. I can't validate this through science. So someone will fact check me clearly in the comments, but I certainly could smell ants. And I want to say I did a little research on this at one point. It's like
there's got to be a term for that.
Yeah, it's like it's a special gene that I have. Like people that can fold their tongue into a taco or something.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Learning something new every day.
Speaking of what you do, you had said something to me when I was out seeing you in Houston. And by the way, your carrot cake's great.
Oh, the carrot cake? Yeah, that's my favorite.
It's fucking delicious.
Yeah.
Yeah. You said you got to get some of this. It's really good. And then when I got home and I fucking ate it, I was like, holy shit, it's the best carrot cake I've ever had.
Yeah. Makes you feel better. There's vegetables in there, so you don't feel bad after eating 12 pounds of meat when you go.
Yeah, it's so
carbs.
good. It's so good. But you said that we were talking about the wood that you were using. You're using post oak, correct? And you said that there is a chance that we might run out of wood because everyone's using it.
Yeah.
And I wasn't sure if you were serious, if that was a joke, or is that a real concern?
That's a concern, especially now more than 2 years ago, 5 years ago. Like, there's only a handful of us using that guy's wood out of Smithville, and it's a crazy operation. We took one of my buddies who was doing a TV show, and we did a shoot out there, and he was like, I was like, I want to take you to the source. Like, if you want to do a brisket cook, let's go to the source and look at it. And he was like, he's I think 15, 20 years older than me. I mean, he's been doing barbecue way longer than I have. And even he got out there and he was like, man, this is an operation. And it's wild. It's kind of normal now that I see it, but if I take you out there, they just have, I think they have 50 plus acres and there's just piles of wood neatly stacked. And you can go through and you can look at the wood, you can see the age on it, you can see the color, and you can actually go and tap it and you can see, like, you can feel the age of like how much moisture is in there throughout the course of it. It's kind of cool. You can kind of see the variations of it. And everybody thinks that, firewood is just, you can kind of get it wherever, but they don't realize that. I mean, I have people that come to the restaurant all the time. They're like, oh, I have, 10 oak trees dead on my property at my ranch. Do you need some firewood? I'm like, yeah, I need firewood all day long. I was like, but don't really want your dead tree. It's still got a ton of moisture in it. Even if it's been sitting there for 5 to 10 years, it has to be split and stacked for 12 to 14 months. So for them to stay, I don't even know how they do it. I mean, these piles have to be at least 30 feet high, 40 feet high. They're long. They're just stacked out there. But like to stay 12 to 14 months ahead with the trajectory of where barbecue is going now and basically balancing out, like, let me make more money or let me keep this curing process proper.
Yeah.
I think that's harder than barbecue. Like, there's a lot of work that goes into it.
And everyone uses the same wood here in Texas.
Yeah, for the most part, like, post oak is basically the standard for Central Texas style barbecue because it's very mild. Yeah.
But not only that, but like when I was still active as a chef and we had a wood burning grill, like, what are we going to use? Post oak. It's like, well, that's what the best guys in barbecue use. So that's what we should use. So there's a lot of chefs out there that are just using post oak for their wood burning grills and for their restaurants or for whatever, right? Just for decoration. And I guess it is a concern if there's not enough wood to go around.
Yeah.
But I would imagine that there's a lot of people that don't know that they're using wood that hasn't been fully cured.
Yeah.
They wouldn't know.
It'll spit back at you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little aggressive. Like,
well, I mean, not in the barbecue community. I mean, like in the local restaurant that has a wood burning grill.
Yeah.
They're just throwing it.
No, they just throw it on.
Yeah.
And they just add it on. That's why I say, again, you got to stare at a fire you got to notice all the things. It starts to bubble in the outside around the bark. It starts to spit some moisture out. If it starts to smolder out too fast, the logs turn black because they're not igniting properly. I mean, there's so many different things that you can tell from the density of the wood. If you're going to get 5, 10, 15 degrees, you can drop it on the ground. You can hear it if it's where it needs to be.
It's fascinating. Like you could look at a fire and it tells you a fucking story.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or I could look at it like it's hot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. That's interesting. Do you get like do you have moments of like Zen clarity when you're working the fire?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love cooking overnight. And that's the reason I got into barbecue.
Yeah.
Crippling social anxiety. I don't like to be in crowds. I don't like to be speaking on stage or anything like that. And I don't just flips upside down.
Yeah.
I have to do some of that stuff, but I would loved barbecue because I could just be by myself, be quiet, and it was just that's all that I could focus on. I
Yeah.
just got fixated.
It's you, fire, meat, done.
Yeah.
What do you do? Because I know mental health is a huge, important topic right now, especially in the restaurant, food and beverage, culinary world. What do you do for yourself to take care of your own mental health?
If I'm not cooking barbecue, I like barbecue because I feel like it's a journey.
Yeah.
Like if you start it, I don't like to start a cook and then not finish it. I mean, it's a long, we're talking 14, 16 hours.
Yeah.
It's an investment. And you know that you can't leave and all your attention is like right there. I love doing that. And what I love about barbecue is the wood's different every day. The weather's different every day. Cows are different every day. All these factors are playing like it's a science project. Every time that you start the pit again, start a new fire, it's completely different. It's not like turning on the stove. It's not like turning on the oven. It's a game at this point. And I'm still chasing the perfect cook, but I don't think you got to be okay with understanding that perfect cook doesn't exist.
What's the closest you've ever gotten to a perfect cook? Do you have it in memory?
I have a couple pictures, but even then I'm like, this could have been this. And it's just, I mean, perfect cooked is every brisket, every slice being perfect. And I mean, that's like all the stars aligning. That's like the ranchers raising the cows and feeding them, finishing them on corn at all the exact same dates at the same weight and like, getting processed at the right time so that the way the meat is perfect. Not all brisket is going to be the same.
Do you do anything for your team in terms of mental health to allow them to be successful when they work for you?
I try to educate them on, the guys that are cooking, that the way that I turn that into, it's more of a game. It's more of a mind state than it is work. And if you start to think of it like that, it's a little bit more peaceful. Then I just got to get this job done to get my check cashed.
Yeah.
If you reprogram it, it becomes more fun. And then you're just getting paid to do work that you enjoy. And I think it's very important to focus on mental health. Like if you need a mental health day, I get it, because nobody's going to be like, all cooks cook with their emotions. And if you're not in a good headspace, it's just not going to come out good. You've cooked Alfredo in a bad mood and a good mood. Which one comes out better?
Right. Yeah. Happy cooks make good food.
Yeah.
As they say. Yeah.
Yeah. You got to get them in their right mind state. I always encourage them to talk about mental health, because they don't think that people like us have the same issues that they do.
Yeah.
We just don't show it.
Yeah.
Because we have to be there for them, but we still have the same things. And
yeah,
you got to educate them on
at every level on the way up.
Yeah.
That's what they don't get. And I think a lot of people don't understand. Like they look at the sous chef or the head chef,
yeah,
the owner, or the level of stress exists all the way up, and the doubt and the uncertainty and the little voice in your head saying, today I don't feel like doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we push them, Chris Shepard, who's a close friend of mine, he started Southern Smoke Foundation, which is centered around mental health, free mental health. We try to push the employees to encourage them to, if you need therapy, if you never considered therapy, they got a program, get you in there, and then, all that stuff.
Do you do anything outside of cooking? Your restaurant work for your own mental health?
I mean, I have to force myself. Like one of the things, my wife never wanted me to get a motorcycle.
Yeah, what kind do you have?
I went. I'm like a nerd for things. Like if I start things,
Yeah.
it has to be a certain way. And I loved BMW motorcycles, but I didn't like new ones, I liked old ones. So rebuilt a 1988 R100.
Yeah.
I wanted to understand the ins and outs of how the machine worked. Had no idea how to work a clutch, no anything like that. And then now my wife will be like, "You need to go on a ride." But before she would be like, "No, it's too dangerous." But she knows that after I've talked about it with her, that's the only time that I can not look at my phone. It forces me to turn off. And the only thing I can focus on is the road and the gears. Like I like to be able to feel, I don't know, the RPMs and feel when you need to shift, work in the clutch and all that stuff. It's kind of like a zen, like everything has to be aligned, gas, brakes, clutch, everything.
Yeah. Anything else that you've been doing lately?
Guitar about a month ago.
Yeah.
Never had any interest in it. And I think one of the things, like we talked about earlier this year, I just realized like my wife thinks I get obsessed with things, but now she realizes that I just want to understand how they work.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like once you understand that there's like a theory or mechanics behind something, you're just waiting to get to that point. And I just get fixated on it to where I can see it.
Yeah.
I just need to speed this up a little bit. I think since I picked it up, it's been like 3 hours a night where she's like, "It's time to go to bed." Or, "Hey, can we?"
3 hours a night.
Yeah, like,
that's a lot of guitar.
Yeah. I don't know. There's something about it. Like, I think it's the same thing like motorcycle. Like you can feel the vibrations of the string. You can hear when a note is wrong, right.
Yeah.
And it kind of just clicks and you're like, "Oh, this needs to speed up a little bit faster."
Yeah. My dad is a musician. He loves to play the guitar. So listening to the guitar is therapeutic for me. Like I don't like to play it. I don't know how to play it, but I like to listen to it.
And there's something about like, I've noticed like your hands don't work.
Yeah.
They just don't work, especially if you're right or left-handed. And then you're trying to use your left hand. And then you understand that you need to step away. And you come back the next day and all of a sudden your pinky is working. You're like, how? It's like thinking about it. It's already doing it before you're thinking it. It's like when you're talking about smelling the sauce and you just develop those muscle memories.
Yeah.
And it's kind of mind blowing. And I wish I just would have picked up on those things a lot earlier in life and appreciated them more. Because I think would have got me to places faster, or maybe I just needed to learn the lesson along the way. But I guess I do. I get obsessed about those things.
It's interesting because anyone that does anything at a very high level, they often talk about that flow state. Like it's almost like, I don't know how I'm doing it.
Yeah.
I'm just doing it.
Now I'm upset. I mean, I wish I would have picked up guitar instead of barbecue. Maybe I could have sounded like John Mayer.
Yeah, right.
Just gotten fixated on that.
Michelin guide coming here. And especially because with Michelin in Texas specifically, looking at barbecue restaurants, there's a lot of hot takes, and that comes with a lot of pressure, especially being the first group of chefs that are being recognized by the Michelin guide. Do you feel any sense of pressure that comes with that? Any added pressure that wasn't there previously?
I think if there's any list or accolade, I've always been, and I think from the beginning, I wanted to get into Texas Monthly top 10. Like that was my first thing that I wanted to do.
Where are you at right now in the Texas Monthly?
Been on it for 3 lists. It's every 4 years. We went from 10 to 3 to 9. I think we're the only restaurant that's been on there for 3.
Nice. Congrats. 10 to 3 to 9, 3.
All over the place.
Yeah.
But my mindset has always been, if I'm not going to get that, then I'm just done.
Mm-hmm.
I talked about just closing the doors if that didn't happen. Like that was my goal. And that's always been my mindset for like every award or accolade. And it's kind of hard because you get it and then you want the next thing.
Yeah.
So it's there. And then you realize it's great, like the accolades are great, but then it kind of sucks because all it's doing is checking a box along the way to solidify what you've done.
Mm-hmm.
And then you not lose the appreciation for it, but it's not like, it's not like the feeling.
Yeah.
Like you have that feeling for just a certain moment. I told the same guy that 2 weeks ago, I was like, I could tell that there was something unique about him. I was like, because you always wear, your emotions. Like if you have a bad cook, it sticks with you for a day, 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I do the same thing. Like I'm just focused on it. I was like, I can remember every accolade that I've gotten, but I can't remember the feel, the time where I know where I was at, but I don't know that exact moment. You know what I mean? Every time that I've messed a cook up or anything like that, I know the smell, the time. It's always like stuck with me. And I think it's like probably a gift and a curse, because then you become obsessive because you're like, well, I got this, but I could have done this.
Yeah.
And I know that I could have done it. So why didn't I do it? So then it's always the next thing. So I think the pressure is always there, and you always want, it's like every Michelin star. You have a bib, you want a star. You have a star, you want 2 stars. You have 2 stars, you want 3 stars.
Right. I think about when I was a chef, obviously, like a lot of people, I had awards that I'm proud of, but the first few meant more than like the next 20.
No. Yeah. 1,000%.
I couldn't remember I could remember like, okay, the first one I ever got, like, oh man, I was on cloud 9.
Yeah.
Maybe one that was really important. Like we got 4 stars from the Dallas Morning News. That was really important. A couple of in between that I don't remember.
Yeah.
I got, best restaurant in Dallas or whatever. And then I don't remember anything after
Yeah.
that. And there has been some, but
yeah,
they're not as, it was more of, I hate to say it, because this is going to sound really shitty, but after a certain point, you just kind of expect it. Like I should be in the top 10. I should be on the list of best whatever.
Now looking back at it, I wish I appreciated that moment. Like the first one, you always remember it. Like,
yeah,
I really, really appreciate it, but I appreciate it even more, and I still wish I appreciated it more then. Because like the stuff in the middle, you don't really remember, but that one you always sticks with you.
Yeah.
And then the rest
like
are kind of
first love.
The rest are kind of like check the box, like they're expected.
Yeah.
That's the hard part about this. Yeah.
You're expected to be in the top 10 or the top 20 or you're expected to make the list. And what's funny about that is everyone else also expects you to be in the list, and it gets, it becomes a talking point when you're not.
Yeah.
You
don't ever want to not be in those conversations.
You don't want to be not in the conversation when you're supposed to be, and everyone else thinks you should be.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of an uncomfortable situation for a lot of chefs and restaurants that go through that. Yeah, it's wild. Awards are interesting. And I was at dinner with a group of chefs, and all of them had awards at the table, a James Beard or a Food and Wine Best New or whatever, right? They all had something to be very proud of. And we went around like, what, I don't know how that came up. Like, what's the award that you're most proud of, the most memorable? And, it was the Food and Wine. It was the James Beard. It was the Michelin or whatever. And then someone finally said, it was the Busy Fucking Restaurant Award. Like the one that had the line out the door and we were making money. That's the award that matters. And I was talking to someone the other day about this, and I was consulting with a restaurant. And I said, look, you could get into the Eater's Best top 20 or whatever, or you could get the $1 million. Like, which one do you want? Yeah. Do you want the, hey, we're going to be a really small restaurant so we could get, the top 20, or you could keep that. I'll take I got a lot of money and my restaurant's fucking busy and I'm not worried about the Bills Award. That one also means something. And I don't think that's often discussed enough, because I do give a lot of credit to those restaurants that are fucking busy and they make money and their employees are paid, and maybe they're not on the list.
There's a lot of those.
Yeah. Successful restaurateurs.
A lot of people don't realize that awards don't pay bills.
Yeah.
That's hard.
Did you see a bump with the Michelin recognition? Or you guys are pretty busy all the time, right?
I don't know. I don't know. It didn't seem as crazy as I thought. I don't know. I don't know if a lot of people in Texas understand Michelin or the expectations were just there already.
Yeah.
We probably did see a bump. I mean, there's a lot of positive momentum in Houston, Austin, Dallas, San Antonio afterwards. But it's such a buildup. Like, oh, Michelin's coming, and then it's here, and then it's gone. It's like, oh man, like another thing. It's like that moment is like the buildup to, are we going to get the email from Michelin? Are we going to get, we got the email. What are we going to get for the award? And then it's over. It's like Christmas. It's like after you open your gifts, it's like it was such a buildup for Christmas, like the entire month. You put up the lights, you put up the tree, you wrap the presents, you unwrap the presents, then it's done.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just wish we could stay in that moment of that, I don't know, that curious moment.
Yeah.
For a little bit longer.
Dealing with everything that you have to deal with in terms of restaurants, pressure, fire. How do you take care of your own health and your own mental health?
That's tough. Therapy.
Yeah.
A lot. Yeah.
Physical therapy, mental therapy?
Gym and regular therapy.
Yeah.
Nice lady. Listens.
Yeah. I mean, it's important.
Yeah, it's hard, like you get list accolades, you do podcasts, the expectations are there, and you kind of, especially after Michelin, you don't want to lose any awards. And so after that, you got to realize, and the staff has to realize that you're playing defense as soon as you open up the doors. The expectation is there. And I had to cope and understand, which I'm still working with, of understanding not everybody's going to not be satisfied the way that I am, and their expectations aren't going to be the same as mine, but the staff has to respect it and understand it. So it's a balance. I have to understand that they're not going to understand me and vice versa. That's hard, especially when you are on defense all the time. You just expect them to be putting out the best work all the time, the way that if they were opening their restaurant. And then you got more employees, you get different emotions. You get, you got to be the rock behind them. It's a lot of pressure on top of that stuff. And more so being able to separate work from home,
How do you do that?
It's hard. Your phone's going off. You always get reviews. You don't know. I never even check if it's 5 stars. I don't even read them. You know what? I read the 1 to 2 star reviews.
Yeah.
And I'm like, God. I'm like, we definitely could have avoided this. And having certain cutoff times when you get home, not to talk about work.
I can relate. The podcast gets rated 5 stars. Some people argue it should be a 6-star podcast. I've written the CEO of Spotify so they can make an exception for us. But yeah, I understand you want to perform at a high level, and when you're reading the reviews, the 5-star ones, like you said, you expect it to go right.
Yeah. What
went wrong? And sometimes there's some gold in that negative feedback. You don't always want to hear it, but sometimes it's fuck, I didn't want to hear that, but maybe
I think you need it.
Yeah, it might be true.
Yeah.
What do you do for your health, physical health?
Gym.
Yeah.
I usually try to go.
You're a runner?
I lift, exhaust myself in the mornings.
Yeah.
Clear my head.
You ever try like meditation or anything like that?
No, everybody said yoga, meditation.
Yeah.
I probably need to try that. I'd probably be good.
Yeah. I mean, I like the gym. I like meditation. I do both. But I also eat way too much.
Yeah. I think that's why I go to the gym. So I can justify eating.
Yeah. If I could eat a big pot of mac and cheese last night.
Was it just for yourself?
It was just for me.
No, it's tough. You got to be able to, and I didn't realize either, like you can't perform at a high level all the time. You're just not. Like you can go to the end, and I can do like physical labor, 16, 18 hours and I'll be fine. The mental stuff, like computer communication, talking, 4 hours that I'm like taxed. But you can't physically do everything. You can't be at the, firing on all cylinders all the time. You have to realize that You have to stop it, refresh, recover, just like your body. Like your mental state has to do the same thing. You gotta be able to recover.
Normally when we get close to wrapping up the show, I have like my standard questions, but I'm going to change them up a little bit for you because I'm very curious. If you had a bucket list person that you'd want to cook for you, who would it be? Living or dead? Chef out there, or restaurant out there?
Probably Francis Mallman.
Yeah.
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 It's like, I don't know. He looks so cool when he does it.
Yeah.
But the way that he talks about it, he's like, and I've cooked with him at events before, and just watching and just like the way he looks at stuff, and like, it's like a philosopher, the way that he looks and talks about food.
Yeah.
The way that it's reacting. It's like he's telling a story each and every step of the way. And it's like it's almost like an event when he's cooking for the most part. And I've always thought it would be the coolest thing, like on his videos, being Patagonia or wherever he's at, and just out in the wilderness cooking and stuff like that, and just like experiencing the environment, and like just using the stuff around you to make something so simple, so beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's interesting, you talk about Francis Mallman being a philosopher, which I would agree with you on that. I've noticed that most successful chefs or people in this industry, or just successful people in general, typically operate as the exception to the rule and think different from everyone else. That's something that I would say about you also, because you have a background in biology. And so we were talking about this before we started recording, that you have discovered recently that you think a little bit different from everyone else. You don't think like the typical chef, so to speak.
I don't know if I think it might just be, I look at things and I get curious, and I get fixated. And after I get curious, I get fixated on it, because I'm like, I need to know how that works. And I get distracted very easily on stuff. Like I all the way down to like, if I'm sitting at a dinner table, my wife is like, why aren't you paying attention to me? I'm like, I'm listening to the conversation next to us. I'm watching the bartender, and I'm also watching the waiter to see, and I'm like looking at everything around me, and I'm like, how's this working out right now? I'm like trying to figure everything out.
Interesting. I was thinking about this the other day, because it's something I noticed about myself. From the moment that I wake up to the moment I go to bed, I'm either learning something or doing something.
Yeah.
And there's no in between. I'm either learning how to, I wake up and I start reading because I want to learn about this. I go to bed and I'm reading or watching a how-to. And in between, I'm putting into practice those things that I've been learning throughout the day. And it is from the moment I wake up, literally to the moment I go to bed, I'm either working on something or I'm learning, or yeah, it's wild. And I think that's normal to me, but I'm starting to realize it's not.
Yeah. How long ago did you realize that?
I realized this just like 2 days ago.
Yeah. I think I realized that today. I do watch a lot of how-to videos and stuff too. And I was actually watching one last night with John Mayer, and he was talking about sobriety, and he was like, 3 years, I don't know how old the video was, but he said 3 years ago, he was talking about Stevie Ray Vaughan and his sobriety, and how he wanted to be able to feel everything, hear everything, and be in tune with everything. And the only way that he could do that was if he was at 100%. And John Mayer basically said, do you want to function at 100%? Or do you want to function at 60 and sacrifice 40 for a good time? And he was like, it's okay if you want to do 60-40. He was like, I'm just telling you that I want to be at 100% at all times. And I've never even thought about, I don't have any addictions or issues with alcohol or anything like that. But like, to think of like something like that holding you back is kind of, I don't know. It's kind of, mind-blowing. Like, to think that you could be missing out on 40% because of that.
Yeah.
Kind of opens your mind of like, oh man, I haven't been working at 100% the entire time. Yeah. Sacrifice for what? A night out, whatever.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty fascinating. Like, that's how in tune he wanted to be with his profession.
Yeah, it's super interesting. Yeah, I realize it might be a problem for me. I don't know if I'm going to fix it, but I realize it might be a problem. I'm going to ask you maybe one or two last questions. If you had a Mount Rushmore of chefs or barbecue makers that should be on it, who should be on that Mount Rushmore?
Francis Mallman. I think I forget his name. He's from Australia. Lennox. He was on Chef's Table. He was on the barbecue one. He's Everything's Live Fire. Open kitchen concept. Beautiful. Wayne Mueller, Taylor, Texas. Louis Mueller barbecue. He's like, he doesn't get enough credit. He's like Dumbledore of Hogwarts for barbecue. He's just like a wizard. He knows everything. I would say Aaron Franklin. He moved that craft barbecue needle.
Yeah.
I gotta say Chris Bianco. The way that he talks about, I've talked to him about. He looks at fire the same way that I do. I don't know who else though. Chris always stuck with me because he's like, he's watching everything. And I think that what he does is even crazier. How the dough reacts, how long it needs to ferment. It's fascinating. It's a whole nother science project. And then how it reacts to fire, not meat. We're talking about a whole different, composition. It just, to see the way that he looks at it is very fascinating for me. And all these guys look at fire and stuff that way, like very differently. I just wish I could crack their heads open for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, where can people find you on social media, and where can they try your barbecue?
Truth BBQ in Houston, Texas, and Brenham, Texas. Truth at Truth_barbecue, and I think my personal one is at Leo_Botello. I have to put Leo because everybody's like Leonard. I'm like, all right, just leave it at Leo. That'll be easier.
Well, I appreciate you coming on. This was great. Thank you for all the insight. This was fun.
I had fun. Learned something today. Ants and how much you absorb watching and reading the things throughout the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed the show. You know what to do. If you're listening on Spotify, make sure you leave 5 stars, or Apple, or anywhere else. Nothing less than 5 stars. It's a 5-star podcast, and I appreciate it. That goes a long way. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the like and subscribe button. You can comment, let me know what you think. Go to chefspsa.com and hook yourself up. Get the latest books, merch, including free ebooks, my newest book, Bad Cooks Everywhere, and you can find out what we're up to at Chef's PSA. We'll see you next week. Hit the porno music.
No Andre in the kitchen, mixing, dropping chef knowledge, no fiction. Stirring up the beats, heating up the session. Listen close, classes in session.